Oh. Not exactly the way I wanted to start it out. But welcome to Ballistically Speaking BS Session 16. Well, John, it's the end of match season. This may very well be the most depressing show yet.
It's not quite the end. I think this weekend is the end. It's just the season's over for us.
It's getting there.
I think
Anyway.
there's an LRSS this weekend. I think it's actually halfway done right now. But
all right, you're disrupting the cheat.
Sorry.
Flow starts now.
This right here has the ability with a 30 caliber clip to disperse with 30 bullets within half a second.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber.
You're listening to your weekly dose of BS, Ballistically Speaking. The Ballistically Speaking Podcast.
All right, I'll have you know, mister. And we're on the air again.
Oh, hey. Sorry. I got a notification from Facebook. I got a notification from Facebook telling me BS session number 16 is starting. So, I better share that shit.
Hello, everybody. We have Mr. John here, the M14 Medic. Is there any relevance to that anymore, really?
Well, I guess it technically still exists, according to my accountant. Actually
continually taking a loss every year.
That's right, for the last at least 2 years. Yeah.
Excellent. So, how are things at the John house?
Yeah, same old. Been
dealing
with a bunch of personal stuff. I don't. Apparently, it's not the topic of conversation tonight, so I'm not going to get into it. But
no,
it's been an interesting couple of weeks for me. But anyways, yeah.
Oh, that's good. All right. Well, let's get right into it. We've got some bills to pay and all that kind of stuff, so we're going to do this now.
Man, that's like totally professional and everything.
How snazzy is that, hey?
Wow.
All right, our feature sponsors tonight are Ribstone Gunsmithing, from stock refinishing and modifications to general repairs and rust bluing on rifles, shotguns, and pistols. Contact Oscar Long at Ribstone Gunsmithing in Czar, Alberta. Ribstone Gunsmithing, craftsmanship done right. Find them at ribstonegunsmithing.ca. And March Scopes Canada. The Dion Optical Design are the creators and designers of March rifle scopes, which are all hand-built in Japan by Japanese craftsmen using only genuine Japanese-made parts. I think that's a little bit
using a lot of Japanese parts, a lot of Japanese things. I don't know. That's weird.
Anyway, made to achieve the highest optical standards possible. Shooters deserve the best possible optics to succeed in all aspects of competition, tactical, and hunting situations. And for this reason, Dion has produced a March rifle scope for every situation. Get a hold of Doug Wright at marchscopes.ca and his email at doug@marchscopes.ca. And let us know. There's a couple of March scopes out in the wild. Chris has what is it, a 442 High Master, and I have the Genesis, the 6-60 Genesis. And Jens, I would like to tell the world that Jens now has a March Genesis 6-60. Oh yeah, really? Samesies.
When did that happen?
That happened just days ago.
Did he actually did Doug geek to another one for the team or what?
Yeah, Doug cut him a great deal that he couldn't pass.
Nicely done. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
nice.
You know, the clincher was, you know how much of a Schmidt and Bender whore that Jens is.
It was the gift bag, wasn't it? The gift bag put him over the edge.
That's right. No, you know what? It was virtually the same cost, but without the need to use one of those prisms or whatever in order to get way the heck out there for ELR.
Oh, Okay, so like you didn't have to use the Charlie Tarek or whatever.
That's right. So
he still could though.
Well, I suppose he still could. I don't know where. With 114 mils of elevation adjustment in that that March.
Yeah, but now he would have 130, 144.
Yeah, 144. Anyway, so along with those sponsors, we have the rest of our amazing sponsors, such as EM Precision Rifles in Leduc, Alberta, building Canada's finest precision rifles. Commission a build today at emprifles.ca. We have Bolt Action Coffee, bringing specialty coffee to the precision shooting world. Order coffee and merchandise at boltactioncoffee.com. Call sign 66. Welcome to the Brotherhood. Book a course with them now at callsign66.ca. Odell Engineering. Pick up a Canuck shotgun or Bergara rifle from your local distributor and tell them Phil sent you. And Apex Optics. When you buy Apex, precision comes standard. Find them at apexoptics.co and grab yourself a Rival 4-32 rifle scope and get on the mailing list for more exciting products coming soon, including range-finding binoculars with a reticle. Awesome. Okay,
I just want to say something before you get too far.
And an Apex on it. Excellent setup. Okay. Speak your mind.
Okay, so
Sprechen Sie Deutsch.
My sister came to visit, and she's kind of a coffee snob, eh?
Okay.
And I was like, well, you don't like my coffee? And she's like, no. My wife says, why don't you give her some of that expensive coffee from the back of the cupboard? I'm like, what you talking about, Willis? So apparently there's an open pound of Bolt Action coffee for like over a year in the back of the pantry. We cracked that thing open. It was still really good.
Yeah.
You know how they roast their coffee every Tuesday and ship it out every Thursday, and you have to drink it a certain amount of time or else it's,
right.
It's gone bad or whatever. No, it lasts for like 2 years in the cupboard. So
yeah,
it's still good coffee. Yeah.
Hey, did you know that Bolt Action Coffee has out right now their 11th hour brew? Their once a year limited time offer that it's out now. So get some at boltactioncoffee.com. Tis the season. All right.
Comments. Hello. Scotty Chitchell's joined in. Hey, Scotty. Right. Picture didn't happen.
Yeah. Jonathan Bergen says, oh boy, what did Chris do now that he's in timeout? Well, it just so happens that Chris is on the road as we speak to Winnipeg. He's doing his fighting thing again. He fights all over the fucking world, that guy.
He's driving all the way in Winnipeg just to kick some poor son of a gun in the face.
Well, you know what? I think he's coaching this time.
Was coaching somebody to kick somebody else in the face then.
His competition days are over. See, that's a thing with stuff like that and some of the stuff that I used to do. Well, shit, that's for suckers. Now that I'm too old, I just watch and laugh at other people and try and cart a rifle around and throw it on barricades and hike fucking miles in one weekend shooting at shit. Spending money on top of spending money.
A guy should buy a golf cart, hey?
I think so. Re-stomp is growing up. So
golf carts.
You know what? Chris, you know what? Without letting the cat completely out of the bag, there should be a video fairly soon with Chris drinking river water. I think he's made this river water drinking thing out to be a whole lot more severe than what it really is. I mean, like you think about kids, we always complain about kids having bubbles around them and all that kind of stuff, their immune systems, blah, blah, blah. And that, kids need to eat dirt. I mean, parents,
they do.
The few parents anymore that still have a fucking brain. But somebody drinking river water, oh my God. I told him it's got to be downstream of the Saskatoon outlet. But he wouldn't go for that.
No.
Yeah.
He's cray, but he's not that crazy.
Trevor Brixton? How do you say that, Trevor? Hey, Rooster, when you get a chance, I have a question. Any recommendations for 300 Win Mag loads? I own a 30-06, but my 300 Wing Mag is still new to me. And Spudman comes along with 180 grain bullet is a popular choice for 300 Win Mag. Absolutely. Anywhere in that. You know what? I used to shoot 165. What are those Hornady? They're a tough bullet.
Oh, the BTSP, the Interbond or
no,
the
no,
Interlock or
Interbond. That sucker was a great bullet, man. From everything from deer to elk, performed really well. And
was it a flat
165.
base or a boat tail?
No, it was that kind of the semi boat tail that Hornady does on like the SSTs. It's pretty much an SST with a tougher jacket.
Yeah.
You know what? And for general purpose, those SSTs, well, which is exactly an interlock with a polymer tip on it, really. But I was always really happy with the SSTs. Yes, they come apart like almost completely, but they'll penetrate through to where you need it. At least that was my experience. And it kills shit. Like there's that bullet comes apart, but there's a whole bunch of bullet going everywhere in the junk, and it just kills stuff. So
I'm a big fan of the 190 grain BTSPs from Hornady. That's what I load in mine.
See, I was always hesitant to try the boat tails. Oh, sorry, you're talking about the boat tail soft point or spire point or whatever they call it, right? Yeah,
it's
sorry,
got the
I was
exposed
thinking
lead tip, and it's the 190 grainers. Yeah,
right. That was an interlock, wasn't it?
It's an interlock, yeah, as opposed to an interbond. Yeah,
they're you know what? They're not a bad bullet by any means.
Well, I've shot a few elk and quite a few moose with them, and they just do the job. The problem is the 190 grains have been discontinued, so you're not going to find them anymore.
Right, but they still make a 180, I think.
They make a 180. Yeah, they're a really economical bullet. Sorry,
are you? You keep looking at that door like you're going to be in trouble if you do something.
Well, I keep coughing, so I'm like, it's that coughing on the microphone. I turn around.
You're like, oh, is she going to come in here? Shit.
No, I think the 165s are great for like deer and close rounds on game and stuff like that. But you want to get into like the 180s, 190s, 200s, the 210s. Hornady makes a 210. It's around those.
That's a lot.
But
that's a lot of punch. Yeah, you know what? I think you're safe with any well constructed bullet between 165 and 208 or whatever they make, right?
If you're keeping it below 3,000, you can pretty much put anything in that case.
Yes,
it's when you get over 3,000, you have to be really fussy on what kind of bullet you're putting in there.
You know what? Spudman brings up another really good point. He says he's old school. He goes with Nosler partition, and you know what? I can't disagree whatsoever. Great bullet. They don't shoot as well as a lot of the cup and core because they've got that rear cavity in it, and it's just tough to get all that stuff lined up in exactly concentric form. But they perform extremely well. And I mean, how tight a group you want to shoot with a hunting rifle anyway?
Well, I think it's a simple matter of just finding a load that works with that bullet, because there's nothing wrong with the partition other than you're buying 50 of them for the same price as 100 of anybody else's.
That's right. So. Scotty Chitchell, I'm gonna take this opportunity to grind Scotty. Because he started it. 178 ELDX, H1000, and charge weight. I won't say because I've learned what works for one won't work for them all. Yep.
Yeah.
And also have a good trigger, good sturdy trigger, right, Scotty?
Good sturdy.
Shit, I'm going to hell.
7 to 8 pounds.
Look at this, Jonathan Bergen going back to the river water thing. Says, when I grew up in Belize, we lived out in the jungle, and if we got thirsty, we'd just drink out of the closest water bottle with a paper drink box water thingy.
Yeah, life straw.
Yeah. I'll bet you Jonathan Bergen's got the toughest guts on the planet now.
Well, it's the tapeworm. The tapeworm's going to keep him safe no matter what, hey?
That may very well be. All right, so getting on with the topic of tonight's show, the off the cuff topic that I kind of came up with. End of match season. Kind of a Well, like you alluded to earlier, it's
Yeah.
not truly the end. There's the LRSS
I think they're in
finale.
Assiniboia. I think they're in Assiniboia, aren't they? Or are they in Moose
Is
Jaw?
it Assiniboia or Moose Jaw?
One or the other.
Either way, southern Saskatchewan, and I'm sure those who are already aware of it are already aware of the location. So it's going on this weekend. I saw somebody say the Milo match. I think that's southern Alberta. It's on this weekend. That's all I can really think of.
Is
Other
it
than
Milo in Manitoba?
well,
I'm
that's
thinking
that's
of
kind of what I thought.
Shiloh. I'm thinking of Shiloh. not
Shiloh.
Milo.
That's
Yeah.
right. I don't know much about the Milo match, but I mean, if somebody was interested, they could look it up. There's a little bit of it going on on Facebook. A guy could look into that. Jonathan Birkin. I wasn't the smartest kid, but my immune system was the toughest in the country. No
I
doubt.
bet. I bet.
And beyond that, I'm not sure. I know I'm hosting just an informal, fun PRS format shootout at the Twisted Rooster Rifle Ranch on October 1st. Anybody here that hasn't heard of it or that's in the area, just a one-day match. I think there's 10 stages that we'll be shooting.
What's the round count? Anyway, how many rounds should the guy bring with him?
It'll be about 101. 101, 103, depending on
Oddly
the
specific.
final. Yes. Well, hey, you asked the question. bring 10 to sight in.
Okay. Just bring your reloading press and everything with you. Hey?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Only got 100 pieces of brass.
Well, and there are some guys, texting me. Do we have to shoot the whole thing with one rifle? Because I don't have enough loaded for just one, but I've got enough loaded for 2 different rifles. I'm like, man, I don't think anybody gives a shit as long as you're out there shooting and having fun.
Yeah,
Yukai Kazi, nice to see you here. He came over from Bending Ballistics when we were on with him last Wednesday night, I guess.
I still haven't had a listen to that one. I should probably track it down, eh?
Yeah, it was a good fun show actually. And he's got some of the best viewing audience around. Bunch of chirpies. It's good. We go on a podcast based out of the southern, mid-southern states, I suppose, and we get chirped down there even. Guys that have never seen us before. Yeah. Oh yeah, we just got our asses handed to us.
That's nice. That's a real welcoming atmosphere, you know that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
So what do you suppose you could have taken away from this year's matches?
It's funny. But there's a bunch of stuff that I still have. I haven't done that much this year. I didn't do as much as I wanted to, but I learned that what I need to do more is get out more. I need to go and expose myself to more of this stuff. I need to do more matches.
Don't expose
practice
yourself in
more,
public, John. We've been through this.
Well, one time, hey.
I know. Yeah. Suck a dick one time.
And it's funny, but it's funny when you mentioned that this is going to be the topic today. I'm like, I walk into my garage and I look, and there's 2 range bags on the floor in the garage from the last match I went to, which was not recently.
That was a long time ago. Yeah, that's right.
I should probably put that stuff away. But it's just one of those things, right?
Well, it's funny how life gets in the way.
Yeah.
Honestly, right? Yeah. So no, you know what? I found that too. I've shot a lot of I guess just the fun PRS stuff, for years now, out at my place. We do a lot of messing around, but nothing was ever under time, and it was all just for fun. And I don't think there was anything that was especially challenging, except for maybe that bloody that suspended platform that everybody swore at me about.
That was brutal.
It was gorgeous. It was.
It was funny as hell to watch. Everybody missed
beautiful.
from it. That's what it was.
Never mind. I cleaned a stage on that damn thing all the way out to 1,050.
Oh my goodness! I still remember the first time ever out at your place shooting one of those little PRS fun matches.
Right.
I got pretty excited. And I remember the one time I'm standing there, I'm telling everybody what I did, how awesome it was, and everybody's like, "Calm down! You don't have to yell, man." It's like, "Oh wow!" I just got right.
I'm so angry. That's funny.
well.
But you know what? I attended several matches this year, PRS matches, and it's clear to me that I'm not ready for that stuff. It was definitely an eye opener. And for one thing, I mean, I'm 40 pounds over what this frame should carry now, thanks to COVID and some other things, 2 full-time jobs and no exercise.
That's right. Yeah, blame it on COVID.
Yeah.
I just like chocolate bars and chips.
Right. But trekking around, I'll say one particular match. It was about a kilometer to where the course started. The course itself was about a kilometer long. So you're out a kilometer, through a kilometer back, and then another kilometer back to your damn truck. And this is in 28 and 30 degrees Celsius weather. And for an old fat guy with a bad back, hawking gear and a heavy ass rifle all that way, like, you want to talk about some sort of pouting by the end of the day.
Yeah.
I was this guy.
Yeah, you need to get a golf cart. I really think a golf cart's the answer.
I know, but listen, life is rough, bitch, right?
No, some guys get those 3-wheeled carts to wheel their rifles around, right?
No,
3-gun
matches. I know some matches don't allow that, though, John.
Well, you just get the golf cart with the rack along the back where the golf clubs should be.
I forgot to take my handicap, rear view mirror.
I'll photocopy the mother-in-law's. We'll cut it out of paper. We'll glue some card on the side so it's got a little bit of stiffness to it. It'll be good.
But most of those stages were pretty all right. The thing that I discovered with me being with a week back in that and carrying all that gear, when I go to a stage, my core strength was so poor that to try and hold yourself in a position to shoot steadily off of something, I just didn't have it. And by the end of the day, I was just all over the place, and I might as well just rolled over and in the fetal position and started sobbing a little bit. But
you went to Sapril, didn't you? How did you finish on that one?
Middle of the pack,
weren't you?
Yeah, I was middle of the pack, both Sapril matches. Yeah. And which is a bit of a piss off, because I know damn well that I'm a better shooter than what the score indicated.
I believe that you are a better shooter when there's no time crunch and you have a little bit more time to set things up, and you're not trying to do a squat and a lean to pull on the trigger. You know what I mean? Like
deep lunges.
That's right. It's like
oh man.
It's like some of those guys that just get absolutely bonkers, where they got the 2 pallets with the 12-foot 2x4 between them, and you have to rest your rifle on top of one of 5 positions, and it's moving like this the whole time. How the heck do you do that?
Cappy says, "I dare you to bring a golf cart, Rooster. We will be kind, I'm sure."
I know a guy with a golf cart.
I think Cappy's lying.
I know a guy with a golf cart. I'll make you a special deal.
Yeah, Mike Hynek. Why get a golf cart when you can just use my truck? Yeah, true enough. I'm gonna have to get that little Toyota running and use it as a cart.
What about you? Says here, don't lie. We know it's all the poutine.
Yeah,
we are not from Quebec. We still like the poutine, though.
I would just like to take this opportunity to say, sir.
Yeah, and
backing up a bit, Scotty says, "What do you all think of the new 7,000-yard shot?"
Wow.
Well, I'm not sure. Yeah. I saw it and I read a little bit about it. It's down in the States there, obviously somewhere. I'm not sure where it was exactly. And what I read, whether that's right or not, it was on the 69th shot, I believe.
Yeah.
uh, sorry, Uke just says, I've got a mean poutine recipe, by the way, and I'm from New Jersey.
Joyzy. That's hilarious.
Listen, 69th round on I can't remember what size of target it was. Was it a 4x8 sheet, I think?
4x8 sheet, I think, is steel, probably.
Yeah.
And it was 7,500 yards, if I'm not mistaken. It was like 7,450
whatever,
something or something like that.
You know, it's a hell of a long ways. So even if a guy is in the damn ballpark and that's almost literal ballpark, football field almost, close to that target, it's in a way, it's a hell of an accomplishment to get out that far with even half reasonable accuracy. The fact that he connected on the 69th round. I mean, you think about the hit probability out at that distance. He could very well have gone double that amount of shots to get it, and it still would have been sort of an accomplishment.
Well, what blows my mind, and this is Jens and I were chatting about it, and I was like, so how many mils up is that with the 33XC to get to 7,500? 368 mils.
Oh,
300, like 370 bloody mils. I'm like, that's like, I do think his intus, that's like 12 Charlie Terex stacked on the front of your bloody
Well, did you
rifle.
see the picture of that thing? It's got this funky rail on it. To me, it looked like just a piece of 3/4 inch plywood.
Yeah.
You know,
just keep shimming that up, right?
I guess so.
But could you imagine? Like, we're talking about 5 miles.
Yeah.
I've never been in the artillery. I don't know much about artillery.
Right.
But I would think hitting a 10-acre plot from 5 miles with an artillery piece is pretty damn good. I don't care if the guy took 300 rounds to get on target at 7,000 meters.
So where do you draw the line between, okay, this guy has his shit worked out, and well, shit, anybody can do that with some luck. You know, like where is that line? Nobody really knows, because out at that distance, how many people have tried that, and how many people have really scienced it out, if that makes sense to you?
Yeah. Well, you know what? Here's the thing too: is it was the 69th round, but did he start at 100 yards and then go to 500 and then go to 1,000?
I'm not sure.
And then
I don't know,
you know what I mean. And then it was the
details at all.
69th round that hit the 7,500.
You know, goddamn well, he didn't start at 100 yards, because there's no way he would have been able to zero.
No, but
did he
start
who knows? Maybe
he
can reach zero till a mile, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. But can
but
you
even
imagine
still walking out from a mile? That's still fantastic. Only 70 rounds to walk from a mile to 5 miles.
Yeah. Bending Ballistics, by the way, welcome to Ballistically Speaking again, and good to have you here. He says 326 minutes of angle to get 22 long rifle out to 1,200 yards, and wow, I know there's some young fella that's done 1,000 yards at least with a 22 long rifle, and I'm not sure what he used, but it well, frankly, it didn't interest me that much to read the article, I guess. So I didn't. I should have.
Well, I know that it's 31 mils for me to get from my 50-yard zero to a 500-yard target with my.
That's crazy.
With my B14. So like, I that's like, I got a Vortex Razor Gen 1 on there, and it's all of the elevation in the Razor that I have above zero.
Yeah.
So
Bending says his ELR rifle is zeroed at 1,000 yards, and that's not uncommon. The only reason I zero at 100 is because I have that elevation adjustment.
Because 114 mils.
March. Yeah, that's exactly right. So, and it all makes sense to me from there. So you could very well zero at 1,000 with a capable rifle, and the whole setup, and go from there, because like I'm thinking about the King of 2 miles. Well, nothing starts below I think it was 1,200 or 1,200 or 1,400.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. So
1,200 meters makes sense. That's what 1,400 yards, right?
Yeah. So, yeah.
How did you do at King of 2 Miles anyway? I know Jens
Well,
did fairly well, but how did you do?
absolutely, you did. You know what? I ended up. I got to the final, or we got to the final. So they took the top 7 out of 28 to the final, and
Okay.
Jens finished right in behind me at 8th spot, and yeah, it's
You actually
funny.
finished ahead of him on the final.
I
You
did.
made it to the final. He didn't.
I did. So does
Oh,
that mean he
it
spotted better
was
than
it
I
was
did
that
this
March.
this
It was
year?
that March scope. That's 100% what it was. He was with that back of the bus, Schmidt and Bender, and
That's
you're
right.
shooting the March, and that's why he switched. That's real. It's he's chasing that. It's a
Maybe.
gear game now, right? So
Or
it's
it
a gear
could
game.
be that he just did a better job of spotting for me than I did for him.
Let's go with that one. That's probably more
That could
likely.
very well be. At any rate, we got into the final, and that goddamn wind all morning, the morning of the final was steady. We had it all sussed out, the high, the low, the direction, no problem. We had a game plan going in, and that's exactly what we stuck with.
And yeah, didn't work out.
So what happened? The wind didn't change direction, but it dropped in velocity by a fairly large margin. And by a fairly large margin, I mean like 4 to 6 miles an hour.
Oh,
That's a lot.
it's enough. How
It
big are
is
the
a
targets?
lot. 30 by 40, I think.
Okay, and those were at 2,300 meters. Is that, if I remember correctly, or what? I wasn't there. I'm guessing here.
Did you see this?
Jens, that's one, John.
Tread lightly.
Then the night is young.
Shit. Betting said, I'm just here to talk shit and trip Rooster up. Yeah, well, that's easy to do.
Allegedly.
Yes. But no, you know what? I think I made the mistake of sort of taking charge. Jens has more confidence in my wind reading ability than he has in his own. So right or wrong, I was more or less dictating what we did when I was out there shooting. And of course, running it back and forth between the two of us and deciding on what we should hold for wind on any particular shot. My problem was, as I discovered through incessant analyzing after that whole thing, after the competition, I discovered and I've heard guys talk about this before, but I've never really noticed it in myself that when I shoot, my world gets like this.
Yeah.
Focused on that target. And I never really noticed that until I was analyzing everything I did after that sequence. And I discovered that for me to pick up environmentals out around that target, and I'm not a high mag guy. Like Jens, he likes his high magnification. He likes to zero right in on that target. He likes to see the grasshoppers sitting on that fucking target. And I criticize him for that in a fun manner. There's no question he's effective at what he does. But I didn't realize until then that I was almost doing the same thing. I've got a.
You're not zoomed in as much, but you're still hyper focused on that target. I do the same thing. I do exactly the same thing. It doesn't matter if I'm on 6 power or 32 power. I'm staring at the center of that target. That's where I want the bullet to go. Is the reticle moving? Is the reticle moving? Is the reticle moving? Right. Bang, right? And it's just, I do the same thing. And I don't know at what point you become, I guess, experienced enough to like, hey, I've only gone on 12 power for a reason. Why don't I take a look and see what that tree's doing or what that blade of grass is doing?
And on
the flip side, that's your spotter's job. That's what he's there for. You know what I mean? To say, I don't know.
Well, and that job of spotting is an awfully tough thing because
It's probably harder than shooting, to be honest with you.
absolutely it is. Because
Especially in a game like a King of 2 Miles. You have to be on the bloody ball. You can't give that shooter any information that's incorrect or somewhat,
right,
oh, maybe it's 3/4, maybe give it a full value.
right.
No,
right.
you got to call it. You got to call
Well,
it. You got to tell them what to dial and what to hold, right?
Not only
Especially when
that,
it comes
John,
to wind.
but when you're looking for ground strikes and you
Yeah.
can't see anything down
Yeah.
there, you're first of all, you're dealing with distance, light, mirage,
Yeah.
and trying to
Which makes
spot
a
that
bigger difference than I ever
impact.
thought it would. Like Mirage
Absolutely,
is
it does.
massive. Like it just bonkers how much the Mirage can change things. But yeah.
Absolutely. So when you can't see a ground strike, when you're missing the target, that's very obvious. The light's not going off. There's no clang. There's no nothing. No
Yeah.
mark on a white sheet out there. You can't see the ground strikes, so you start looking in the air to try and find
Yeah.
that sucker in the air to find at the very least the line. Never mind your trajectory to measure that to see, well, are we at the right elevation? And when you can't see that, now what are you going with? Now you got to look around, and the grass out there is nothing. Nothing
This
moves
tall.
out there.
It's this
Well,
tall.
it's taller than that, but it's not even grass. It's shrubby shit with stiff stalks. Like they don't move very much.
Yeah.
Even if
you
you
have to have a
can see
lot
them.
of wind to get it to move. A lot of wind to
So
get that kind of grass to move. Yeah.
right. So now you're looking around you near the firing line for as far as the naked eye can see, sort of thing, and you can see some of the grass moving. What the hell is it doing at 2,200 meters?
Yeah.
You have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, we went through that, and the first comment I got after time ran out, I got 14 of the 15 rounds off that were allowed in the finals, and it ran out of time. And the first comment I got was, "What are you trying to buy, a fucking camera?" Because everything was off. We were holding too much wind because the wind had dropped, but we weren't
Couldn't
able
tell.
to pick that up downrange.
Yeah.
So when part of the problem was when we were not shooting, we were not permitted to look through our spotting scopes downrange. Not permitted whatsoever. The entire competition.
Really?
So I couldn't study to see what that mirage looked like way the heck down there to judge velocity. When we get there, just as soon as we stepped on that line, I'm sure that wind velocity dropped. And I looked through that spotting scope and I studied it for a while, and I saw some highs, some lows, and I thought, okay, well, that's what 11 to 15 miles an hour looks like, is what we're dealing with all goddamn morning. So until that point. So what I saw when I was on the rifle was the same mirage. So I didn't need to look around, or at least that's what sort of occurred to me at the time when I was shooting. And of course, you're thinking about the clock ticking down and looking for ground strikes and all that kind of stuff. And it just, I was so mad at myself for days after that I didn't pick up that wind change. But
so next year, I guess we're gonna get some directional little air testers, and then we'll about maybe 75 to 100 yards off the line of fire, get there about a week ahead of time, plant them out every 50 meters, and then you'll have up-to-date information on your tablet or your phone, and you'll know exactly what the wind is doing.
Cheater.
Whoa. I am a disreputable son of a gun, but I'm not that disreputable.
You know what? There were some guys that did exceptionally well out there this year. Something we did notice, Jens and I were shooting the 33XC. Shane shooting a 33XC. Mikey stuck with his 300 PRC. Steve shot his 338 snipe tack again. Some of the guys that did really well were shooting the 375 enabler. It just seemed to come together for them a little bit easier. Now, that's not taking anything away from them ability wise, skills wise. I'm sure they're excellent shooters in spite of whatever caliber they're shooting. However, the guy that won it, I believe he was shooting a 33XC as well. So I have zero excuse.
Well, you do. Jens didn't do his job properly. He wasn't giving the right wind call. It's all your spotter's fault.
Ending ballistic says 375 enabler. What's it enabling this year? It's enabling. Well, it's enabling
alcoholism.
A placement higher than mine at King of 2 Miles.
So are you thinking about bumping to something very different for next year? Like, because I guess that's
absolutely not.
Since we're talking about off season, like, what are your plans for next year? Like, because this is usually when I take the time to shift gears from, okay, so this is what I learned this year. This is what I'm going to take into the off season with me, and what are my plans for next year, right?
Okay, so
like, are you planning? You're not planning on rebarreling? How much life you get left in this tube, you think, on your 33?
Listen, I have I think it's 260 rounds now on my 33XC.
This is your second year shooting that, isn't it?
It is. So
and you've only got 275 down
well,
the tube?
if you remember last year,
maybe it was your fault you didn't finish in the top 3.
If you'd shut the fuck up for a second. First of all,
Jens is off the hook.
Before I lose it, a couple of things in the comments here. Jens says first place was shot with the shooter was using a 33XC. Second was 300 Norma, and third was a 33XC as well.
Okay.
Fourth place was a 375 enabler. I can't remember fifth and sixth and whatever. But anyway, let me see. So if you'll remember last year, I just got that custom stock back like a week before the goddamn competition.
Like, you had enough time. Did you even get the chance to bet it before?
I didn't bet it.
That's right. That had to happen after you didn't have the time
to bet the damn thing. Yeah. So I shot King of 2 Miles with an unbedded rifle. I mean, whatever.
Jens beat you last year, didn't he?
Jens did handily beat me.
So the betting was what told the tale then this year. Is you did better than Jens, then you betted your rifle.
Well, no, you know what? You know what told the tale this year for me was Jens's wind calling skills.
Yeah.
Honestly, for the practice that we did this year, he got more familiar with what was downrange, and he knew, like from our practice sessions, what results we'd seen downrange. He was able to put that all together and using that Kestrel a little bit better, knowing it better than we did last year, certainly helped as well. But no, honest to God, my performance as a shooter, or my placement as a shooter from last year to this year, was 100% Jens knowing what he's doing behind that spotting scope. 100%. My shooting skill, I don't think necessarily improved between last year and this year. I got more trigger time this year, but I really didn't change a hell of a lot. But the thing is, it's a spotter's game. It truly is. And if you take your spotter's word for gospel and you go with what he calls, it's a win or a lose by that spotter. Simple as that. So last year by the end of the season, I had 91 rounds through that barrel total, including load development. Load development, practice, competition, 91 rounds. So I got a little bit more practice in this year. I went to ELR camp at Rob Furlong's range. What was it? 10 days before the actual King of 2 Miles competition. And so Now I've got more than double that. No, almost double that on the rifle now. So yeah, I don't know. It's still got some life in it. I'm going to continue shooting it. Jens and I made the decision here about a week ago because Steve's talking about going to a 375. I don't think a 375 enabler. I think a 375 snipe tack is what Steve is talking about doing. Shane is considering the 37 XC. And listen, there are definitely some advantages to going with a 375 bullet over a 33 bullet. We all know
ballistically, there's advantages, right? There just
absolutely
is, right?
Absolutely. But for what Jens and I have invested in the 33 and what we now know about the 33 and our specific ballistics, I think it's we're gonna stick with trying to refine our skills again for next year, rather than relying on equipment to compensate for what we lack in skills right now.
For sure.
And like Jens says, first and third were both 33 XCs, and Christ, second place went to a 300 Norma. So you're going to tell me that a 300 grain 338 bullet is capable of less performance than a 300 Norma? Like what would it be, a 250 grain 30 cal?
Has to be a 230 for sure. 230 for sure.
30 for sure. Exactly.
Like the burgers are making a 230, which I think would be great in a 300 PRC or a 300 Norma.
Yeah. Scotty Churchill saying,
there's been a lot of comments here.
Yeah. Well, it's mostly those guys from the south talking about ostriches.
Jeez Louise, man. They're talking more than
ostriches and rhinos. Oh, that's binos. Hockey. Rooster watched hockey instead of betting his rifle. You know that there might be some truth to that. He's also saying I'm recoil sensitive. I'm sensitive about a lot of things.
You are sensitive about a lot of things.
Yeah.
He likes it better when you scritch his beard just right.
That's right. My leg starts quivering. Yeah. Scotty's asking, how was ELR camp? It was pretty good. It was a different format. It was kind of a what did he call it? A self-led camp, and Rob and his gang were there as how do I want to say it, like consultants basically. And we learned a few things, definitely, but it was nice in a way that there wasn't somebody taking you through very specific things and this is what you did that entire weekend. They accommodated sort of a team environment. Okay, you guys are here as a team. Work on what you feel you need to work on, and we'll help you out with achieving your goals from that set of goals, whatever. So it was okay. It was good to have the trigger time. It was great to be able to shoot that range before the actual competition.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
It'd make a huge difference.
Rooster's a very sensitive man. You know it. Yes. Yeah. Jens, I'm not sure exactly what he's talking about, but he says, sure, always blame the foreigner. Well, yes, of course. Absolutely.
DM the link, I'll talk shit live, LOL.
What else was there? There was something else I saw back here. Some of these things. Oh, the funny part is these Canucks don't get the Canadian show reference. I missed it, I guess, Uke. Sorry. They're talking about eating ostriches. Blah, blah, blah. Rob.
Sick ostrich.
Rob Mick should post some bore scope pics of that barrel. Once I get the... Well, you know what? There's definitely some fire cracking.
You still have my test lung there, don't you?
It's right back there.
Yeah, so use it. That's what it's there for.
Well, okay. So I was going to get into a whole thing. The whole thing that I was going to get into. We're talking about a Letterkenny. Who wouldn't talk about a Letterkenny? That's fucking great, that shit. So...
Wish you weren't so awkward there, bud. Sorry.
Putting your match rifles away for the season, like there's the to clean or not to clean is it's kind of all over the place depending on
Yeah.
who you talk to, right? And there's lots of guys that well, I don't clean my rifle until it starts spraying, or I clean it every 60 rounds, or I clean it every match, or whatever, shit like
Yeah.
that. And I don't think it really matters a whole lot, and it's so dependent on so many factors. Um, and I'm sure most guys do what they feel works for them, which is fantastic. However, one thing that I'm proponent of is cleaning your match rifle when you're putting it away for the season, because in my mind, um, carbon in your barrel is, I don't know whether acidic is the right way to put it, but
It soaks
it's
up all the
corrosive.
moisture.
It's
It sucks up.
somewhat corrosive. Sure, it does. Sure,
It
it does.
sucks up all the moisture, any humidity, and you're going to get increased humidity in your home over the winter up here in the north in Canada, because you're going to increase the humidity in your home, and then that carbon inside your barrel is going to suck up all that extra moisture.
Sure,
And if
sure.
it's a stainless barrel, it shouldn't matter as much if it was a chromoly
As
barrel,
much, as
but
much.
it still makes a difference. You're
Right.
still you're rolling the dice. You're better off to clean it and give it a coating of oil, if nothing else.
Right.
And it also gives you a chance to assess the barrel and the condition. Is that where you were
So,
going with the Tesla comment? Carbon ring.
so Rob is saying carbon ring. Yes. So interestingly enough, when I was out at the ELR camp, the loads that I've shot since last year when I settled on a load, um, were really acting up at Furlong's camp there.
Oh,
And
really?
Christ Almighty, it was 35 Celsius.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I kind of chalked it up to that. I'm using Reloader 50, which I think is more temperature sensitive than something like H50 BMG. But I mean, that's what I got. That's what I'm running. I'm not changing it 10 days before the damn competition. So I was having some real hard extraction. Like the head area, that case had swollen so much. Like primary extraction seemed okay, but to get that goddamn thing
Yeah.
out of there, I was pulling so effing hard on that bolt. It wasn't even funny. I just about needed to come along, for Christ's sake. Um,
Was it dry and dusty?
Absolutely, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, um,
Do you grease your
anyway,
bolt?
so I took it home. What I did, of course, I greased my bolt.
That's where the stiffness was coming from.
Part of it.
Get
So
get the
I
grip.
greased it up real good before the competition, and it was better. Plus the temperatures were lower. So what I did when I came home from ELR camp was I took that test long, slid it through my barrel. Yes, there was a bit of carbon buildup at the front of the neck portion of the chamber, just what do you say? This side of the lead, the throat,
Yeah.
and I stuck a swab with some CLR in it, let it soak for 20 minutes, and give it a good twist with a brush and a swab. Came right out. Like
Yeah.
there was nothing in there for carbon ring. And so I was Scotty, but did you break a trigger? No, I did not break a trigger. That honor belongs to you, buddy. So no worries about a carbon ring. It did cross my mind. That's why I went in there with a bore scope and remedied that. And it ran all right. It was still really tough extraction because what I did, without thinking through 100% of the factors, was that the brass that I shot through the camp, I wanted to use it. And I'm very, very particular about how I size, trim, chamfer my cases and everything. I thought I'd start fresh with those ones, fresh on a third firing.
Well, they're fully
And-
sized now.
Yes.
Fireform for sure, right?
and um, and ran with them. So, and then what I got thinking after the first round at King at 2 miles, because I was having hard extraction again, was shit. I've blown the diameter out enough on those on the base of the cases that it's no matter how I sized them, it would have resulted in the same thing. So anyway, I toughed it out. I have 100 rounds or 100 pieces of brass, and I left 50 pieces of brass here because I only need what is it, 28 rounds or some stupid thing for the entire competition. So I don't need to take that other case. Whereas it turns out that I probably could have used that, but I got away with it anyways. So
Yeah.
not that big a deal. But anyway, long way around. I would say clean the carbon out of your barrels before you put them away for the season, especially the carbon. I really don't give a damn about the copper. Jens just joined #2LUGNation. Well, there's there may be something to say about that as well. But anyway.
Okay, so I just want to revisit something here. Sorry.
Yes.
About 10, 12 minutes ago, listener Boone asked, when you're spotting, and I'm assuming he means when you're actually shooting at King at 2 miles, are you using binos, a spotting scope, or a rifle to spot?
Ooh, spotting scope. So
Spotting scope. Okay.
You cannot use there can only be one rifle on the line. And with binoculars, you will not see what you need to see at 2,200 plus meters.
Unless you got those great big naval ones that need like a pintle mount. Those
okay, so maybe that's what he was maybe inferring.
No, I'm thinking. I'm sure he was talking about the Apex 10x42s.
Well, you don't know. You don't know. But they definitely make those fucking 80 mil binoculars. But I don't think they make any of them. I think they're a Swarovski or the ones I'm thinking about anyways.
Yeah.
And to my knowledge, that nobody makes one with a reticle in them. And in order to spot for ELR, these ELR competitions, at least anyways, you've got to have a reticle in whatever viewing device you use in order to call accurate corrections, right? So
for sure.
I think it would be pretty amazing if somebody came out with a set of binoculars, high powered binoculars, variable powered binoculars, with a reticle in them.
I think that's just a matter of you asking the right optics manufacturer or whatever you want to call it to see if that's something that they would do. I know I have seen a lot of guys at like PRS and rimfire PRS type events using binoculars to spot. I think binoculars have a place in some games. I don't think ELR is a great place for binoculars. I think spotting scope is probably the way to go.
Well, not centerfire ELR. I mean, now we're starting to see a lot of the 22 ELR is what people are calling it. And
but you still get out to 600-700 yards, and you're not seeing much with a pair of binoculars either.
You'd be surprised and I mean, depends on what you're looking for too. I mean, if you're looking for little dots on a plate, binoculars isn't going to work for you. If you're looking for a large area around the target to spot ground strikes,
that's true.
And if you're looking for bullet trace, man,
no, I never see trace with two eyes. It's only ever one. If I got one eye, right? I can see the trace every once in a while. If I got both eyes, forget about it. There's no way. I don't know why it is. Well, for me anyway, I just assumed everybody else was the same.
Yeah, you know what? I've had. I haven't used binoculars for center fire a whole lot, but I am able to pick up trace in the right conditions, of course. But for rim fire, a set of binoculars is the way to go.
It's beauty.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
So one thing that Benny Ballistics keeps bringing up is what is this off season about which we speak? It must be a Canadian thing, so they can watch hockey. Well, no, the reason why we have an off season is because because when you have 5 or 6 feet of snow and it's minus 30 Celsius or minus 30 Fahrenheit for that matter, nobody really goes outside. And it's hard to shoot, PRS in my basement.
Well, not nobody, John.
Well, that's true.
Not
That's
nobody.
true.
Some of us go outside.
Yeah, some of us do go outside to get in the truck to go to work or something.
Yeah, true enough.
So the third thing I wanted to mention was when you were talking there is cleaning.
Right.
Once upon a time, Shooter's Choice used to make a solvent for copper and copper only. There was for carbon. There was no copper cleaning essence inside the fluid, and it was absolutely great for putting your stuff away for the winter without stripping all the copper. I'm a big fan of the copper equilibrium theory, but I don't like having the carbon in the barrel.
And until you get too much of a buildup of
then you got to scrub it out.
Which how many times have you seen excess copper buildup to the point where it's affecting the accuracy of the rifle?
With my 243 Ackley, it happened at around 400 to 500 rounds. So I'd only have to no.
No.
I would
not
only No, not doing it. No, but I used to, with my 243 Ackley, I'd get 800, 900 rounds out of a tube. I'd only have to scrub the copper out once. On the flip side, it took me 50 to 60 rounds to build up enough copper in it to get my load to shoot again anyway. So, but cleaning out the carbon was easy. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Brush, couple passes, couple patches, and you're done, right?
Yeah. So now Mike is
that's
bringing up a hell of a good point.
That is a valid point.
It's coyote hunting season. Different type of match. Absolutely.
That's right.
God bless you, man.
Different sport entirely.
Sean Rebman, good to see you here, buddy. Good set of 15 power binos is way better than a spotter in PRS. 100%. Yeah. And especially since PRS is a much faster paced competition than ELR. 100%. Yeah. And it's great when you're dealing with targets from say 300, 350 yards out to 1,000 plus. I think that the 15 power binos is it hardly gets any better than that, because what are you looking for in PRS? You're looking for just dirty old hits. You don't care precisely where they're going.
Yeah.
And you're not calling out accurate corrections for a shooter. You're just observing, really, right?
Yep.
Look at these Yanks here.
Yeah.
Just talking shit.
What the heck, eh?
I know.
What the deuce, man?
Yeah, Mike Heinex does it's coyote hunting. It's like NRL hunter, but better. Absolutely. I miss
but it's actually hunting.
Yeah. That's right. Not that steel shit out there.
Yeah. Reactive targets.
Shit.
Oh yeah, they're reactive.
So now hunting season. What do you got queued up or anything this year?
I didn't get drawn for nothing.
Right
now would be normally when I'm in elk camp. I completely blew off elk camp this year. Way too much other stuff going on.
Well, no kidding. That's kind of a first in a long time for you.
Yeah. Well, shit happens, right? So
yeah.
Sure. And then the little fellow wants to go deer this year. He's finally legally able to hunt, but he hasn't taken hunter safety yet, and he doesn't really seem to have much drive to get hunter safety. But it's like, dude, you can't shoot a deer in the face unless you have hunter safety. So like shit or get off the pot, hey? Like I've done my bit. No, you got to do your bit, and then we're good to go. But
you can lead a child to water.
Yeah, that's right. He does want to go, but I think he wants to go drink hot chocolate in the back seat of the truck while Grandpa and I drive around looking for.
I gotcha.
Coyotes and deer and miscellaneous targets of opportunity as we're day drinking and hunting. We don't actually day drink while we hunt, but
Well,
Oh
most
yeah,
of it.
we have
Yeah.
we can still open carry our spears, so it's all good, right? You can hunt in Canada. Figured new life laws would restrict that. No, but
Yes.
we can still carry
Well,
around spears.
don't discount anything our fucking prime
Premier,
minister,
prime minister,
whatever. He's a
slime
fucking
minister,
idiot.
as some people
Yeah.
have called him.
Prime minister, prime dick. Uh, don't discount anything he might
That's
do.
true.
Like, Jesus Christ. There's some woman in Edmonton this week that was carrying around a shank, for Christ's sake.
Jeez, Louise, you want to talk about something crazy? A friend of the show, Sean, he sent me a picture of a girl walking around one of the high schools in Regina carrying a rifle. Like,
Say again?
like the school was on lockdown. It hit the local news media here a little bit, and yeah, there was a girl walking around one of the high schools in Regina today with a rifle. So,
Wow, isn't that interesting?
I'm not sure I can say those words live on air, Alberta Rob,
That's
but I
all
concur.
right.
But I
That's
concur.
all right. Yeah, Alberta Rob says, well, he's got some choice words for our for that clown sitting in the fucking chair down east. Allegedly.
I think Oakley, or was it Annie Oakley from the TV show? Oh my goodness, my mind just went blank.
Oh goodness.
Oh,
Welcome to my world.
oh, it just I had it. Now it's gone. Oh well.
Anyhow, so I'm just kind of thinking skills that a guy could take from competition season through to hunting season. I see a lot.
Well, for
I don't know how
PRS,
many.
there's a lot. Like all those field
Absolutely.
positions and awkward positions you get into. That
100%.
yeah.
And let me tell you,
If you're making hits in PRS, you're making hits hunting too, right?
Absolutely. when you're shooting a fucking target the size of this phone
Yeah.
at 300 meters,
Yeah.
off a wobbly, what are those karate poles or whatever with the swinging posts sticking out of them or whatever?
The wax
it's
on,
almost,
wax off thing.
well, sure.
You're talking to the wrong.
I've seen some
wrong
obstacles
fella.
like that.
The regular
Right.
guy that sits in this spot would know what that thing's called.
Some sort of karate chop tree.
Cha-cha.
Yeah. Anyway, and like Mike Hynek says, off of tripods and all that kind of stuff.
Speaking of that, I
says-
bought a tripod this year. You do realize that I've come over to the dark side. I used to make fun of the guys carrying around tripods.
Yes.
And I'm like, I can actually replace my bipod with a tripod.
Yukai Kazi says those are for kung fu. Pardon me.
Kung fu.
The kung fu tree.
Oh,
The foo tree.
Kung fu tree. The foo tree. Oh, wow.
Walking
really?
off at the PRS match. I'm not sure what that means, but anyway. A light tripod for hunting is the cat's ass. You know what? I don't doubt that. I could see that coming in very handy. I mean, as long as you're not, bushwhacking too bloody much. So,
well, that seems to be the problem though. Like with me, anyways. Like when I'm hunting elk, I'm like putting 20 clicks on in the forest cross country. I've got the smallest.
You putting
possible.
on 20 clicks? Pardon me.
Yeah. I lost the last time I went elk hunting. I lost 14 pounds in 20 days.
What?
Yeah. And I ate like a pig the whole time.
I was going to say, you clearly did not take enough beer.
I ate normally. I'll put it that way. The whole time I was, but it was brutal. Like it was a lot of effort. I wouldn't want to carry anything. Like I got a lightweight hunting rifle. I got basically a piece of string for a sling because I don't want to have something heavy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like my pack, I wouldn't carry any water with me. I'd carry a life straw. If I got real desperate, I'd like I'm not carrying nothing I don't need.
That was probably 20 of your, what did you say? How many
14 pounds? 14,
okay.
20.
That was probably 13 of your 14 pounds that you lost was water weight.
You might be right,
man.
I had a lot of water weight. No, but like, and then on the flip side of that, like, there's only two kinds of hunting I do. I'm either trumping across the prairie,
Right.
carrying everything I got with me, or
Right.
everything I have fits in the back of the truck. And I try to make sure I don't shoot from the truck if a CO is present, right?
You try.
I drive. Everything. I don't, I might shoot from the ditch on the side of the road, but I don't get that much further from the road. So,
Right.
but that's just, those are the two kinds of hunting I do. And yeah, neither one is conducive to using a tripod.
Ikaikazi's commented, I'm guessing PRS is pistol, rifle, shotgun. No, that's that
Three
seems
gun.
to me that's 3-gun.
Yeah.
PRS is precision rifle series. It's all precision rifles, different positions and all shite like that, stuff that I can't do very well apparently.
Well, Scotty says has something germane.
What's he got here, Scotty? I found when you can extend your confidence range to 400 to 500 yards, it's a game changer for hunting. The deer don't mind you're there. You have time to set up position, gather the data, and make a good shot on an animal. That is so true. And you know what? That confidence thing, I've talked about it before, and I've advocated for hunting coyotes so much to improve your shooting skills, because when you're out there calling coyotes and you're in shitty positions, your ass is sunk down in the snow or you're hiding behind a tree or whatever, calling coyotes, and they come to the call and they're going mock freaking chicken past you at 200 meters or whatever, and you got to make that shot on that thing as it's running quartering away. Man, you refine some skills doing that kind of stuff, and it's something I haven't done for several years. You know what, honestly, since hard domestication, those opportunities have become less and less for me. It's kind of a shitty excuse, but I used to hunt coyotes like a crazy man, and I used to be able to shoot from all sorts of positions, including this one. You get 5 coyotes coming in, and you shoot the first 2 like this, and the other 3 are in behind you like that, and you make a Hail Mary. Not that I've ever hit one from that, shooting kind of half-assed behind me, but.
So Benny Ballistic says, how fast is mock chicken? And I was going to say 64 kilometers an hour. Alberta Rob beat me to it with 63. You know what? I'll give it to him. He's probably righter than I am. But yeah, 60K an hour, probably. Yeah.
Yes, bending coyotes. Not coyotes. Lauren Green, who is a famous Canadian, always says coyote. Said coyote before he died. Coyote. But here on the prairies, she's coyotes, eh?
Yeah, coyotes.
I saw a Facebook thread one time. I think it was Facebook. Somebody criticizing somebody for saying coyotes, like bastardizing a term. Like, shut the fuck up! They're dirty prairie dogs that wreck shit, eat stuff that they shouldn't.
Not prairie dogs. That's like
not prairie dogs, gophers. Prairie canines.
Prairie canines. Yeah, there we go.
Is that better? Okay.
Or coyotes.
You know what? Uke says coyotes. Yeah.
Coyotes. No kidding.
Oh, Alberta Rob says he shot 2 this morning.
Good for you.
They're putting a stock on my dog. Oh, the old 22K Hornet got the job done. Yep.
Isn't that a rimmed cartridge? It's shaped like this, and it's got a rim on the bottom, doesn't it?
Hornet? But the K Hornet isn't improved. It's almost like an Ackley.
Oh, so it's got 30-degree walls as opposed to.
Well, I'm not sure whether it's I don't know, but it's
I don't know.
Its performance is substantially better than the regular Hornet.
I wonder if you can still buy a rifle in 22K run.
Bending says, is it duck or Duke? Well, it just depends on the area of Canada you live in, eh? Over on the duck east side of things, it's probably a Duke.
A Duke?
Yeah.
A Duke?
Oh, you betcha. Yes, Alberta Rob says it's a rimmed.
Yeah.
Jonathan Bergen, where'd it go?
Well,
You ever seen the videos Steve Eklund posted about the dogs fighting a coyote and a corral of cattle?
Not sure who
No,
Steve Eklund is.
I don't know. Dogs fighting a coyote in the corral of cattle. I had a Staffordshire Bull Terrier cross with a shepherd one time, and that sucker hated coyotes. Oh, just with a passion. I don't know if he ever killed any or not. He'd take off for like an hour at a time, come home with blood and a nipped ear all over him. So I think he did all right.
Moose or meese? It's moose or mooses.
It's Mises. What a bunch of clowns, these guys. All right, so your plans are to hunt, just go for whitetail or something this year?
Yeah, well, I'd like to get out for some pheasants, I think, this year too.
Oh, right.
But
yeah.
it's finding the time for because that's 2 hours away from here and then staying at a buddy's place type thing. So we gotta kind of coordinate schedules and stuff like that. And deer probably just, within 30, 40 minutes of town kind of thing. We live in farm country here, so there's usually a fair bit of deer. And once the crops are all off, it's a lot easier to see them. So
I was hosting the CRPS Sniper Series in the King of Point 22 miles, and what was the other one? The last 2 days was Nationals, CRPS Nationals. There, what was that? 4 weeks ago, I think. And so I'm spotting, spotting for a guy on he's shooting, and impact, boring, impact, whatever. And all of a sudden, half a mile away through binoculars, big stinking mule deer, like really big. And I was like, holy fucking big mule deer. Sorry, I'm out. that sucker had to be like, holy Christ, he was big.
I bet you there's probably some pretty decent deer out in that little chunk of pasture you got going on there.
You know what? Years ago, our area out at the farm there was renowned for big mule deer. It was not uncommon to see 200 plus inch mule deer, and like several of them. But then they had a couple of seasons of the depredation hunt or whatever they call it, earn a buck program or whatever. Just massacred the fucking mule deer population around there. And now it's finally starting to come back where there's some big mule deer again. But it's been 6 years, 7 years, something like that. So it took its toll.
The numbers still aren't back from the winter of 12 and 13 yet. So
what the hell is this?
Toasted
just a semi-fancy Sammy. Turkey tits on toasted potato bread with melted American bread and butter pickles and Thousand Island in between the protein. Is he talking about fancy sandwiches?
So it's a semi-fancy sandwich. Turkey tits, that's turkey breast. On toasted potato bread. I think that's hash browns. With melted American, that would be the Kraft singles, if that makes it as American cheese.
All right.
Bread and butter, pickles, and Thousand Island between the protein. That sounds freaking delicious.
So here's your K Hornet versus the regular 22 Hornet.
I got a biggie size the screen here. Just give a second.
Okay.
That looks like a 22 mag. I do.
Kinda.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, that's from Rob. He sent that picture. So it's just
thanks,
it's an
Rob.
improved 22 Hornet.
Yeah. That's where the K comes from. KK.
I guess. Sure. I'm not sure what the K stands for specifically, but
it's not hash browns. Okay.
You don't understand. I'm the resident of several channels. Okay.
It's not hash browns. Well, what the hell is it then? Allegedly.
It's grits.
It's grits. Grits is like pudding, but warm. It's slightly chalky.
I don't know what grits is. It's like a day out whitetail hunting in the truck. All that dust coming in the cab. It's like I got grits in my teeth.
No, that's grit. I don't know. I'm thinking grits is like cream of wheat. The stuff that you don't cook but put inside your rifle cases to fire for them.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, I think I've had about all I can take.
Well, are you going to get out this year for anything, or no? Are you going to get out and hunt
Well,
anything, or put any for
that's yet to
draws or
be
anything, or
seen.
what?
No, I don't put in for draws anymore. It always seems like in the fall I encounter a whole bunch more work than what I normally do. It always gets busier in the fall, and if I put in for draws, it seems like I always miss them because of work, and I'm still working two bloody jobs, and I just if I get a chance to go out, especially if I get a chance to go out in open season for elk or moose or something like that, I'll go if I get a chance. There's no sense putting in for a draw, um, and paying that money and not being able to go. That just bugs the shit out of me. So more than likely, what I'll end up doing is taking a couple of days for whitetail or something like that, and go out to the farm, sit in a spot, and hopefully I can get there early November. Rattle. I've always determined that around the 5th of November, in our area is prime time for rattling. It's just that pre-rut, that time where they're responding to that kind of stuff. So I might try that, and I think it's a little bit easier now with the new trespass laws in Saskatchewan, where there's not and I couldn't if I had $1 for every damn time I found a good spot in a piece of land that I know,
Yeah.
in a nice little area, I sit down and start rattling, and somebody comes along with a fucking half ton rumbling through the field. Do 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 do. I'm gonna put something out of this bush and jump out and shoot it. That kind of truck hunter thing, and just ruins everything that I had set up. Just shit just pisses me off. So uh, maybe the new trespass laws will alleviate some of that sort of thing now.
Well, I know the new trespass laws have pretty much corncobbed the way I used to hunt. So like whitetail anyway, like whitetail hunting for me is just, it's cold outside. Call them meth heads. So like it kind of completely ruined that, because my whole goal was to drive around the countryside and see a deer, pot it, go out, drag it back to the road, throw it in the box of the truck, and away you go. Keep going.
Yeah.
But now with the trespass laws the way they are, it's almost like you have to know whose land you're driving by. Well, that pretty much ended that. So now it's going to be stand hunting, and you have to have permission ahead of time to stand hunt there. And
in a lot of ways, it is kind of a pain in the ass. It's unfortunate in some ways, but I'm telling you, man, there are so many disrespectful hunters out there that, especially within that sort of hour radius of a bigger center.
Yeah.
There are all sorts of guys that and it's always a case of one bad apple spoils the bunch, right?
Yeah.
Some cocksucker goes and cuts a fence or whatever because he's too fucking lazy to go find the gate or whatever.
How many
times
everything. I've heard that, but I've never ever heard seen somebody that's actually
okay. So you didn't grow up on a farm. That's
no. I've that's obviously clear. But anyways, yeah, I'm not half retarded, so I obviously didn't grow up in a farm.
This is true.
Anyways, no, but I've heard that story lots. Like, you've never had a fence cut, or somebody's cut a fence and pissed off the farmer. Now we always post his land. I've met a lot of hunters in my time as hunting, and not a single one of them would cut some farmer's fence.
No, that's what I'm saying. One bad apple spoils the bunch. Yeah,
it was probably the same guy went across the whole province and cut a bunch of fences, and now nobody else can go hunting on any land anywhere because that one guy.
It is very unfortunate because there's a lot of land out there that's posted that isn't fenced, and it's just crop land. And by the time hunting season rolls around, especially rifle season, everything's fucking frozen. You're not doing any damage to the land anyway.
Yeah.
But they have it posted. Either because somebody's just got their nose in the air and said, "Fuck you guys, I don't want y'all are strangers. I don't want y'all on my land."
Stranger danger.
Or some prick has done something sometime on that guy's land. And listen, there's no shortage of idiots that'll spin donuts out on your fucking cropland. I mean, listen, they're having fun or whatever, but they don't realize the implications of stuff like that. And farmer takes exception to it and says, you know what? Fuck you all.
Yeah.
You're not hunting here anymore. No more. So,
Yeah.
and I've been part of that. I mean, I grew up on a farm and I've seen some of the shit that, guys blasting right near your goddamn house.
Yeah.
Oh shit. We didn't think you were right there. You didn't think. That's the problem.
Yeah. You didn't think. And that's the problem right there. Like there's a
Bunch
fella
of
here.
degens from up north.
There's a news story I saw today. A fella in Alberta was some guy was trespassing on his land, so he shot him in the leg.
Oh. Bet she's gonna think twice about that again.
Well, the cops showed up at his house and gave him a stern talking to, and he's been arrested and went to court, and he's probably back home now. But needless to say, it's not quite kosher to shoot trespassers neither. But you're still not supposed to trespass.
Murder, Rob. John, talk shit on growing up on farm. Rooster takes large pull of whiskey and ponders his next words carefully.
He don't have to ponder nothing. That's not whiskey. That's water.
You know how sensitive I am and all.
Yeah, that's right. You also know I don't mean it neither.
That's right.
I don't actually think that people that grew up on farms are somewhat retarded. I didn't mean it that way. I was making a joke. It was insensitive. I'm sorry.
That's all right. It's all right. We have traps and shit set for people like you.
That's right. It's called shiny things stuck on trees. Is that a target? I'm going to shoot at it. Oh, my goodness.
All right, folks. If you haven't already, please check out the show at facebook.com/BS podcast. Leave a review and let us know how we're doing. Also, if you like the content, please leave a like on the page and share. Also, email us any questions you might have. And that goes for everyone except Bending Ballistics. I know what kind of email I'm going to get from you, buddy. Probably just a bunch of trash. Canadian, eh?
Well, he's playing right to your wheelhouse there, isn't he?
That's right. Bending Ballistics.
The trashier the better.
You're on the ban list. Anyway, we'd love to hear from you. info@bspodcast.ca. Also, lastly, a massive thank you to all our sponsors. Without you guys, we wouldn't have much of a show. We'd just be idiots talking like we have been all night, and
but without really a camera.
Attention. That's right. Yeah,
and be hiding in our basements.
Fancy microphone. Thanks to all this. Oh, now I've done it. Damn it.
I'd show you mine, but every time I move mine, the cable gets loosened.
Don't do that. Don't do it. All right. Shane and Steve with EM Precision Rifles, Miles Carey and Cappy with call sign 66, Duncan and Rob at Bolt Action Coffee, Phil Odell at Odell Engineering, Doug and Niza with March Scopes Canada, Vanya and Carly with Apex Optics, Oscar with Ribstone Gunsmithing. Thank you all very much. I also would like to send out a special shout out to Guard Dog Foam Inserts. You can find them at guarddoginserts.com. They just did this for me with custom laser engraving. And let me show you. It's on the inside.
Twisted Rooster rifle team, I think, on the front.
Nice pistol. Ooh. Nice pistol case. So I can take three of my pistols to the range in one box, so I'm not having to take a cart. And yes.
So does it say Twisted Rooster rifle team on the front?
It does.
It doesn't say Rifle Ranch, eh?
No. That's
a
my
pistol
original
case.
logo.
Yeah, but it's a pistol case.
You shut your mouth.
So, just out of curiosity, what's the website price on something like that?
The website price, well, with the engraving and the case and all, and shipping, came to $360.
It's actually not bad.
It's not too bad.
Now, case.
So this brings me to a special offer that they've extended to us. 15% off whatever product you buy from guarddoginserts.com. Yes. using the promo code BS15. Use BS15 when you order online at guarddoginserts.com, and you get 15% off your order.
And they don't just have pistol cases, neither.
Yes, folks, it's that easy.
So what if you put BS50 in there? Would you get 50% off, you think? Or would it just
No,
not
you
work?
jackass.
Oh, okay.
Well, you could try it, I suppose, but you might end up with full price FU.
Yeah, that could be true. Yeah. Wait.
Anyway, guarddoginserts.com, BS15 promo code for 15% off your next order online. Okay? Also, I'd like to thank Extreme Range Outfitters. You can find them at extremerangeoutfitters.com. They've been supporting local matches extremely well out here. They plan on supporting CRPS next year, 2023, as their premier sponsor, at least for King of Point 22 miles and CRPS Nationals out at my range in 2023. Nomad Custom Gear, that guy right there, the whole ammo wallet thing.
Oh, I thought that was a really narrow plate carrier.
I need 3 times that wide for my torso.
Well, that's what I was saying. Is that like for your arm or no?
Nomad Custom Gear. Good
Nice.
products. Good guy. Good products. Made in Canada.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So Alberta
I think
Rob,
that's about all
they do make toolbox inserts at Guard Dog.
Yes, they do.
They made that
Absolutely.
rifle case insert for Jens for his ELR
right.
rig, didn't he? And
You're right, Jonathan. I'm not that skinny. Shut up.
You gotta. Can you? Yuka what's his name there? You don't need permission to look the window.
Yukaikazi.
Just so you know, my Xbox Live Gamer tag is window licker with 2Ks. Or my live ID, whatever you want to call it. Just so you know.
Oh my goodness.
Allegedly.
All right, folks. I gotta pull up something here. Blah blah blah. Okay.
Push the button, put the thing with the stuff.
I pushed the button with the thing and the stuff. Thanks everybody for showing up. Thanks for tolerating us. Thanks, John, for being here.
Yes. Thank you guys for inviting me on the show.
No problem. Always
had
good. To
nothing better to do on a Friday night. I'll be honest.
Well, no. What is there better to do on a Friday night other than?
Do you want to come on the show, John? Yeah. Hells yeah.
All right, folks. Thanks again. We'll see you next Friday, hopefully. Watch YouTube for new videos coming out. Chris has got a bunch of good stuff coming from TACOM yet. I don't know.
Did you see the one video has ads on it? Did you see that?
Yes.
One of your YouTube videos has ads.
Yeah, that's great. We've made an entire since we've had 1,000 subscribers and applied for monetization. I think we've made 36 cents.
36 cents?
We're big time now.
You only have to have another 3.7 billion views to make $100.
That's right. That's right. I gotta get a new set of $32 earphones here. So
eventually you guys are going to get to the point where you guys will get enough money from the videos from like TACOM or SHOT Show or something, where you'll be able to buy 1 tank of fuel. To get there or back. Not the
dare to dream, Billy. Dare to dream.
Dare to dream. That's right. Oh my goodness.
All right, everybody. Thanks very much. We'll see you next week.
This right here has the ability with a 30 caliber clip to disperse with 30 bullets within half a second.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber.
You're listening to your weekly dose of BS, ballistically speaking. The Ballistically Speaking Podcast.